Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Tadera White here, the senior pastor of the ForWord Christian Center, and I can't wait to get into this word. It's a message entitled, I Got That Fire. Listen, open up your Bible. We're going to 1 Kings chapter 18, verses 30 through 39. Listen to this message. I got that fire.
1 Kings chapter 18. And here is what the word of God declares. Then Elijah called to the people, "Come over here." They all crowded around him as he repaired the altar of the Lord that had been torn down. He took 12 stones, one to represent each of the tribes of Israel, and he used the stones to rebuild the altar in the name of the Lord. Then he dug a trench around the altar large enough to hold about 3 gallons. He piled wood on the altar, cut the bull into pieces, and laid the pieces on the wood. Then he said, "Fill 4 large jars with water." Let the church say, with water. And pour the water over the offering and the wood. After they had done this, he said, "Do the same thing again." And when they were finished, he said, "Now do it a 3rd time." So they did as he said, and the water, let the church say water. The water ran around the altar and even filled the trench. At the usual time for offering the evening sacrifice, Elijah the prophet walked up to the altar and prayed, "O Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, prove today that you are God in Israel and that I am your servant. Prove that I have done all this at your command. O Lord, answer me. Answer me so that these people will know that you, O Lord, are God and that you have brought them back to yourself." God, don't make me look crazy out here today, he says. Immediately the fire, let the church say fire. The fire of the Lord flashed down from heaven and burned up the young bull and the wood and the stones and the dust. It even licked up all the water in the trench. Final verse 39. And when all the people saw it, they fell face down on the ground and cried out, "The Lord, he is God. Yes, the Lord is God." I want to take my emphasis from verse number 38. Immediately the fire of the Lord flashed down from heaven. Look at somebody like you know God be using you and tell them, "I got that fire." Amen. They don't even believe you. Find somebody else, tell them, "I got that fire." You can tell all the folks done heard that song before. It's interesting, this 1 Kings chapter 18 is one of the most familiar stories in the Bible because it deals with the phenomenon of the showdown at a place called Mount Carmel with a prophet by the name of Elijah. I really like his story. I'm extremely intrigued by the story of Elijah because of how he just comes on the scene. He is a case in point of one of those once in a lifetime kind of people who didn't even start from the bottom. He went straight to the top. Likened unto a walk-on player from the NBA. We know nothing about his high school resume, no years of college to our recollection, but simply walked on and became a superstar. That was the story of Elijah. For when he came onto the scene, all we knew was that he was a Tishbite. We knew nothing about his mother or his father. Through what school he matriculated, none of that. We don't even know what church he went to, who his pastor was, what church he belonged to, or none of that. All we know is he just showed up out of nowhere, just almost out of the blue. He just showed up, and when he showed up, he showed out, because instead of his first real deal being something small, when Elijah showed up, he went straight to the palace, walked straight through the door, went straight to the king, looked the king straight in the face and said, "It ain't gonna rain till I say so." Deuces, walked out the door. If that one gangster, I don't know what gangster is, to just walk up to the king and tell him, "Bro, it ain't gonna rain until I say it's gonna rain." How do you say that to the king? Because it's the king that gives the orders. When he speaks, things happen. But this prophet, this man of God, who in the eyes of the people had not really earned the right to be heard, because he had no history, he had nothing to his credit that would make him worthy to make that kind of statement, and people believe it. And therein is a glorious revelation, and it is this, that sometimes the things that others may say, or sometimes even the things that you may say, it's not that it's not important, but sometimes it just doesn't carry as much weight, because oftentimes we force ourselves into positions that we've not yet earned the right to be heard. So there are things that people who have walked with God a long time can say, and people will respond to it a whole lot better than those who just entered into the race because they've not earned the right to be heard. I know it's a sad reality, but it is a reality nonetheless. Elijah would have seemed like he would have been that fella, because they could have said, "Who are you?" Talking about, "Excuse me, don't nobody even know you. Who are we to listen to what you have to say?" But I guess the proof would be in the pudding, because if he says that it's not going to rain until I say so, then we'll know if he's a false prophet if it rains. By the time we get to chapter 18, it's been 3 years. Ain't no rain falling. If anybody was a skeptic after 3 years, they had to be crazy or just in denial, because if you tell me it ain't going to rain till you say so, and 3 years pass and it ain't going to rain, you won't have to convince me that God is using you, because it has not rained in 3 years. It had never been like this before. Which is why Elijah's story is so critical, because the question is, why would God do that? Why would God shut up the heavens, not let it rain? When there's no rain, there's recession. When there's no rain, there's famine. When there's no rain, there's drought. Maybe it was because of who was in reign. There was a brother by the name of Ahab, by the way, who happened to be the king. And you may not know much about Ahab, but you probably have heard of his wife. Her name was Jezebel. Jezebel and Ahab, they were a ruthless combination. I mean, they were just plain old evil personified. Ruthless to the point that they would cut your throat, go home, go to sleep, not think twice about it. Ruthless to the point that they would smile in your face and stab you in your chest. Punk smile in your face and stab you in the back, but she would smile in your face and stab you right in your face. I mean, they were just ruthless. They were just extremely gangster with it, and this was who was in reign. And maybe God was saying that as long as evil reigns, I will hold up the reign. Because although Ahab was in R-E-I-G-N, only God controlled the R-A-I-N. Contrary to popular belief, only God can make it rain. Only God can really do that. Only God can really do that. I know what the video and the song told you, but I thought y'all were saved. First the natural, then the spiritual. What if I told you that as long as you are in control, God won't put his hand on it? Sometimes when you take the reign, God will take his reign. Until the day you finally realize that if I'm going to be blessed, God's going to have to be the blesser. But what if I told you, bro, that if you would just stop trying so much to be the man and let God be the man, then he'll show your family that you the man. See, the moment you get in reign, then God will withhold his reign until you understand that everything you have really comes from him. for 3 years and 6 months, God is proving a point to the people of that land, because the thing that would really make a king a good king is his ability to provide for those who are under him. And if it ain't raining, there's recession. Where there's recession, there's famine. There's no rain, there's drought. So, king, you don't look so good if you're supposed to be the man and you can't provide for those that are under your command. It's been 3 years now. God's about ready to send the rain, but before he sends the rain, he has to send some fire. And therein is a glorious revelation, and it is this, and y'all please don't tear up the place, because we ain't got that much room in the room. I don't want y'all to tear up nothing, but I will say this to you. You can always tell when God's about to bless you when the heat get turned up. See, for those 6 of you that it looks like the enemy acting crazier than he's ever acted before, all that means is that he's running out of options. And he's trying to do all he can to destroy you now, because he knows after this he ain't got nothing else left. And the only thing left for you to do is to walk into your season of breakthrough, because the darkest hour is always just before day. So if it's extremely dark in your life, get excited, because all that means is that weeping may endure for a night, but joy is on the way, because joy, can you receive that today? Look at somebody and tell them it can't get no worse than this. We can only go up from here. Out of all the things the devil tried to do to kill you, if that didn't do it, life is coming for you. So he meets them. It is Elijah who meets King Ahab. They had been looking for Elijah. They wanted to kill him. As a matter of fact, it was so funny. It was so funny when you read chapter 18, you'll discover that there were people who would see Elijah, and then they would go back and report to the king that Elijah is over here. And the king would go running trying to find him. When we get there, Elijah be gone. And so he would have to kill the person that said that they saw him. There was this one brother who was really close to God by the name of Obadiah, who worked for Ahab. But Obadiah was a good dude. He was a prophet who hid 100 prophets in 2 separate caves. 50 in one cave, 50 in another. During the time of a recession, he made it his business to take care of the preachers, because he understood that if God was going to do anything in the earth, he would reveal it first to his prophets. So if you kill God's mouthpiece, then we don't know what God is going to say. That's why it's extremely careful. And I don't understand this generation of church culture. We crazy. We kill our leaders. We will kill our preachers. We'll kill our pastors. But the truth of the matter is, it don't matter if you don't like preaching or preachers. When God get ready to speak, that's who he going to use to do it. And so he kept 100 of them, 50 in one cave, 50 in another, and he would go and secretly provide food and water and nourishment for them. He ran into Elijah. Elijah says to him, go back and tell Ahab I'm right here. Obadiah said, man, I was born at night, but not last night. You think I'm crazy? Because every time somebody say they saw you, when the king come looking for you, they can't never find you. And then that person end up getting killed. He said, I promise to you. He said, on everything, on God, if you tell him I'm here, I'm going to stay right here till he comes. He said, all right, I'm trusting you now. Went back and told King Ahab, Elijah out there, man. Ahab shows up and Elijah's standing right there. Ahab said, you really had the nerve to show your face knowing everybody is after you, bro. You really crazy enough to challenge my authority, man. I am the king, and you really crazy enough to show yourself to me. See, you want to know how you anointed? You know you anointed when you get to the place where the threat of your enemies don't move you. Who am I talking to in this room? When the threat of your enemies don't move you, it don't scare you, it does not trouble you. You know you are God's anointed when the things that would trouble everybody else brings peace, calm, and comfort to you. As a matter of fact, it was so funny how Elijah did this. He said, I'll tell you what, before you kill me, let's prove which God is really God. I'm going to meet you on Mount Carmel. We're going to set up altars. Whichever God responds by fire, that's the God that we'll serve. If we call on Baal and Baal responds by fire, You ain't got to worry about me. I'll bow down and serve your God. But if God be God, we going to serve him. Ahab said, well, all right, before I kill you, I'll take you up on your word. Now, I don't know how smart Ahab was, because if the man said it wasn't going to rain until he said so, and it's been 3 years and it ain't rained, you ain't got to convince me no more. God using you. But apparently, let me tell you how unspiritual he was. Let me show you how spiritually dead he was. Some people are so shallow in the natural, spiritually dead in the spirit, they can see God operating in your life and pretend like they don't see him doing it. Don't that make you mad? Don't that frustrate you? I mean, people have tried you. They tried to get underneath your skin. You still come up rising with a smile on your face. Truly, God got to be with you for you to go through all the hell that you endure, and you still come to church lifting up your hand, declaring, I will bless the Lord at all time, and his praise shall continually be in my mouth. There's a glow and a light about you that would have made other people quit a long time ago. It's got to be God on your life. 3 years it ain't rained, and you said it ain't gonna happen till you say so, and I should have believed that. Yeah. King should have believed that, but he apparently doesn't see in Elijah what God is doing, so he challenges him anyway, and they go to the mount. 450 prophets. Say 450. 450. 450 prophets get on the mountain and start calling on the name of a god called Baal. Set up the altar, laid the woods, they killed the bulls, cut it in half, called on their god. Oh, Baal! Answer by fire. Oh, Baal! Answer by fire. Oh, Baal! Come see about us. Oh, Baal! Answer by fire. They might as well just said, oh, hell! Because one ain't happening. Because they had a God that had eyes but couldn't see. They had a God that had ears but he couldn't hear. They had a God that had a mouth but he couldn't speak. They called on, as a matter of fact, they called on him so long, the Bible says around about noontime, Elijah started picking at him. He said, oh, well, maybe your God is asleep. Call him a little louder. And them fools started doing it. They got louder. You know, he's probably right. Our God might be asleep. Listen, if your God take naps, I don't want your God. If you got to wake your God up, I don't want none of that. If you got to hang your God up on the wall, I don't want none of that. Now some of y'all think y'all God is that little angel that's little hanging on that little rear view mirror. You think your God is that picture that you got in your house. You know that's who you think your God is. Look at your neighbor and tell him, that ain't my God. That ain't my God. My God is so powerful that you can't even see him, but he's always there. My God is so powerful that he can hear me pray, you pray, your cousin and your auntie and them pray, and hear all of us at the same time. Who in here know what God I'm talking about? I'm talking about the God that may not come when you want him, but he'll show up when you need him. He said, call him louder, he might be asleep. And then they called him louder and he didn't wake up. He said, oh, I know what it is. He ain't asleep, he on vacation. So if you call him louder, maybe he'll hear you from wherever he's taking his vacation. Man, them brothers, them preachers, them prophets got so frustrated. They were calling on their God. It had been 4-5 hours had passed. Still no God responded. They started cutting themselves. Frustrated. I don't know what kind of God that is, but I don't need the kind of God that leads me to depression. I need the kind of God that when I'm going through crazy, confusing situations, I need the kind of God that even if he don't fix my situation, he can help me stay calm while I go through it. Cut themselves almost to the point of death because their God wouldn't respond. After a while, you know what Elijah did. He did what you would have done. He said, look, man, I'm tired, dog. We done tried your way. First the natural, then the spiritual. The only reason some of you are as close to God as you are, because there was a season in your life where you were calling your Baal. Maybe your Baal was not an idol that you hung up on the wall, but you called Baal your boo. You called your boo and your boo wouldn't come through, and so that made you mad. That frustrated you. Maybe it wasn't your boo, but it was your booze. Y'all acting holy. Don't even go there with me. Don't even go there with me. You thought you could drink your problems away, but you discovered when you look back over it, it didn't do nothing but cost you a whole lot of money and a few headaches and hangovers in your life. And your booze couldn't do it for you. Your boo couldn't do it for you. As a matter of fact, going out kicking it with your homegirls wouldn't do it for you, because that was only temporary therapy. But then you start talking to other people and found out that they were having as many issues and troubles as you were. And so that didn't comfort you. That was your Baal. The only reason you on God's side now is because eventually you got tired of calling on the Baals in your life, because you discover now you will be a witness to some young people. Baby, these streets ain't got nothing for you. Ain't nothing out here for you. Hey, if you just want to have your little fun, go on do it. But I'm here to tell you, you're going to hit a place in your life where you realize ain't nothing out here for you but jail or hell. Who in here can thank God for the day you finally got tired, that your feet got weary from running from him, and you finally got to the place where your hands were lifted up and your heart was ready to receive a blessing from him, because there was nothing that Baal could offer you. So Elijah said, well, give my God a try. Since your God is asleep, on vacation, possibly dead, we'll try my God. I want to say this to somebody in this room. If your God is dead, try mine. All right? I recommend Jesus. Right? Because this is the kind of stuff my God does. Elijah said, y'all did y'all part. Now it's my turn. So he fixed the altar that they messed up, trying to get their God to respond. Fixed the altar. But then he did something deep. Messed me up. Messed me up. Miss Bunny messed me up. In addition to preparing the altar, he dug a trench, which made it uniquely regimented. Don't worry about spelling it. It's on the screen. Uniquely regimented. It will be on the screen. It's uniquely regimented, meaning instead of making it easier, he made it harder. He dug a trench in preparation to put water on the altar. Now, I don't know much about camping. I don't know much about setting no fires, but here's what I do know. That if you want God to set the wood on fire, why would you wet it? Seems easier for dry wood to catch fire than it would for wet wood to catch fire. Do you know why I like this story? I'm going to tell y'all why I personally like this story. Because for a minute, I thought I was crazy. I did, man. I thought I was crazy. Sometimes God be dealing with me on some stuff and it don't make sense. I'll be honest with you. It don't make sense. I don't get it. I can't even understand the ramifications of it. But when I read 1 Kings chapter 18, I found out that if I thought I was crazy, this was crazy. Because here's how you know you got that fire. You know you got that fire when God will let you get the ultimate results, but not get it the easy way. See, I don't know how you feel about this. I am more afraid of not doing what God called me to do than I am the circumstances that surround it. You see, some of us, in order for us to do something, it's got to be cool, calm, and easy. It's got to be peaceful the whole way through. So that's why some of y'all, man, you scared to even get in a relationship because you think, man, what if we start arguing? Or what if we start having issues? You scared because if it ain't peace 24/7, you can't do it. That's why some jobs some of y'all don't even need to apply for. You don't even need to apply for. You ain't ready to be the boss yet. You ain't ready to be CEO. You ain't ready to be the manager. You can't handle people rolling their eyes at you yet. What make you think that you can be the leader? Y'all all right? Because if you can't handle that, you can't handle blessings and promotion, because you do know that every time God bless you, another hater gonna be waiting on you. And if you can't handle no haters, don't pursue no promotion. He says, listen, I'm expecting God to respond by fire, but I'm not going to make it easy for him to respond by fire. He says, I'm going to uniquely regiment this thing, prepare a trench, enough for about 3 gallons of water to fill it up. We're going to get ready to pour some water on this wood, on this bull, and we're going to expect God to respond by fire. I'm going to say this to you, I'm going to move on. If everything come out your mouth makes sense, God don't talk to you. I said that. In Ensley, I said that. What? If everything you do has logic with it, God ain't speaking to you. In this generation, God is going to prove himself to be God, but if he's going to prove himself to be God, he can't do it according to the way you think. He's going to do it according to how he operates. Are you in here with me? So it would seem easier, logical, not to set the wood on fire or not to set water on the wood if you want God to respond by fire. But he went the opposite direction. Maybe, just maybe, so that when it all got said and done, couldn't nobody say that it wasn't God who did it. Can I tell you why sometimes God makes it more difficult for you? So that you won't take no credit when it happens. I'm going to preach all by myself today, man. So that when it's all said and done, you can't say mama and them did it. You can't put it on your education. You can't put it on your friendship circle. It's going to have to be God making the ways and opening the doors. As a matter of fact, can I keep it 100 with y'all? I want God to bless me. That's where I really want my blessings to come from. Because when Negroes bless you, they'll never let you forget that they was there for you and how they spotted you $20 when you were going through it. They'll never let you live it down. But when God bless you, he ain't going to keep begging you. He'll bless your soul without one word. All he wants you to do is come back and tell him thank you. And I discovered that the more I tell him thank you, the more he bless me. As a matter of fact, if you need something from God, don't even ask him. Just tell him thank you for it, and he'll already make it. Who am I preaching to in this room? I constantly thank you. You constantly bless me. Uniquely regimented. And then after it's uniquely regimented, he makes an unusual request. I just told you 3 years, it ain't rained. Recession. Famine, drought. No rain means no water. Guess what this preacher said? This crazy preacher. He couldn't have been y'all pastor. Elijah couldn't have been y'all pastor. Some of y'all, Jesus couldn't have been your pastor. Because Jesus says some crazy stuff sometimes too. Y'all be like, no, I'm going to find another church. If Jesus come here and pastor a church, some of y'all still be sitting in here. The devil is a lie. You better go where he is. I know, white is my pastor. Elijah, this preacher, in a drought, told them, go get some water. Well, we gonna get it from Pastor E. Where we gonna get it from? God ain't sent no rain. God has not provided rain. God has not given us rain, and you have the nerve, the audacity, the unmitigated gall to tell us, Pastor, to bring something, to give something that we ain't got. You know I much I pay in child support, and you talking about giving to the church? You know how expensive my car note is, my insurance is, my health insurance is. You know how much it costs to put food in my house, and you talking about in a time of famine and recession, and I don't even know how many hours I'm going to get per week, and you talking about go get some? And to add insult to injury, he told him to go get water in a drought and said, when you get it, bring it back here and pour it on the wood. Bruh, listen at me here. If it's a drought and I trust you enough to go look for water, if I find it, you think I'm going to bring it back and pour it on some wood and a dead bull? It hot. Water scarce. I find it, I ain't telling nobody. Anybody else want some? If it's family, I'll pour a little bit in the top. But I'm keeping the bottle myself. That's an unusual request. How many folks sit up in church mad, frustrated? You want me to do what? You want me to come at what time? 8 o'clock in the morning for church? That's too early. I can't do that. What time Bible study? 7? That's too late. I can't come that late. I don't get out at night. Well, you went to the club at night. I ain't studying y'all. You ain't got to say amen to me. I preached for amens when I was 17. I'm 35 now. I don't care. It's a drought. And he said, go get water. 4 jars of it. Fill it. We need about 3 gallons. Bruh, water's scarce. But he tells them to go get it. Watch this. Apparently, he told them to go get it because he knew something they didn't know. The moment he told them to go get it, God was supernaturally going to make sure it was there. I'm going to say something that's going to sound a little bit braggadocious in the natural, but it's going to be spirit. Can I tell you why some of y'all won't get blessed? Because you won't do what your pastor tell you to do. That's heavy right there. I knew you was going to get quiet. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Because if the Lord himself don't come down and tell me, then what's the purpose for your spiritual authority? See, don't tell me who you're over, tell me who you're under. Yeah, you can tell us who you talk to, but who do you listen to? You know, we know who sit at your feet, but at whose feet do you sit? He said, go get water. And when he told them to go get water, everybody that believed that water would be there, they went back, found water, and brought it back to the altar. Now, apparently, he had to get a request to the right people, because if they was like me and you, they would have found water and drank it. He had to be able to trust the ones who he sent to go get the water, not to drink it. He needed somebody, to get water who didn't mind giving it to God. What if I told you you ain't got no water because God didn't know you would give it to him? Can I say something to y'all? You ain't gonna like this, but I got to say this as a man of God. Some of y'all praying for jobs and better jobs, and you praying to go to the next level, and you praying for a raise. I hear God saying, if you ain't gonna bring me the water, I ain't gonna give it to you. If you ain't gonna share nothing with me, don't even worry about getting it. If all you can think about is going on trips and buying cars and get a bigger house and being able to go shopping and increase your wardrobe, he said, ain't no sense in me giving water to somebody that's gonna drink it. I need somebody that's willing to pour it on the altar. Uniquely regimented, and it's an unusual request, but they get it, they bring it, and they drench it in water. And after he drenches it in water, Elijah did what I know I would have done. Soon as the altar was ready, next thing is for God to respond by fire. When it was ready, Elijah said, all right, everything ready? Y'all set it up. Trench filled, bull killed, stones in place, wood in place. All right, they said, yeah, we did everything you told us to do. Now what, prophet? Elijah said, hold up. Lord, you done had me to have these folks come out here. I laughed at them when they God didn't respond. If you don't respond, they gonna kill me on this mountain. On top of it, I told them to get some water in a drought and pour it on this wood. If you don't respond by fire, they gonna set me on fire. I guess you don't have that conversation if God don't uniquely use you. But ain't it easy to talk faith when you ain't got to use it? But now push has finally come to shove. Elijah turned his head and said, God, don't you embarrass me out here. Don't make me look stupid out here, God. You told me to start this. You told me to organize this, God. It's going to have to prosper. It's going to have to do well. It's going to have to flourish, because if it don't prosper, if it doesn't do well, if it doesn't flourish, then it's going to look like I lied about you. And I don't need you to make me out of no liar. So God, if you will, please. Answer me. Who's ever been there where you trusted God with something, and when push came to shove, you had to turn to God in silence and just had to turn your face to the wall and say, God, now I've been believing you now. I've been trusting you now. I've been coming to church. I've been in my word. I've been praying. I've been studying. I've been telling other folks about what you're able to do. I've been encouraging people that's been discouraged. Now, God, I need you to make easy my ways and open this door and do something for me, because if you don't do this, everybody around me gonna be asking, where is your God now? I need you to respond. But hear me when I say this, that whenever it gets to that place where God has instructed you to do a thing, listen, the issue is not if God gonna do his part. The issue is always whether or not we gonna do our part. And God sent me here to tell you that if you make one step, he gonna make all the rest of the steps. God ain't expecting you to perform no miracle. He's just expecting you to begin one. And I hear God saying, listen, if you just prepare the altar, I'll perform the miracle. You ought to high-five your neighbor and tell them, just prepare the altar. Just set it up. Just set it up. You don't have all the news. You don't have all the information. You don't have all the criteria. I hear God saying, just get started with it. Because if you get started with it, then I'll finish it for you. If you begin it, then I'll end it for you. I don't know. That's maybe for 2 or 3 of y'all in this room. You ought to rejoice when you hear a word like that. Because the reason you don't do stuff is because you know how to start it, but you don't know how to end it. You understand the alpha, but you don't understand the omega. God said, if you just do the alpha, I'll do the beta through the omega, and I'll take care of everything else for you. Look at somebody like you're concerned about it and tell them, go on, get started. I don't know what God is going to do beyond this, but listen, just start it by praying about it. Just start it by speaking it into the atmosphere. Just start it by believing that he's able to do exceeding and abundantly above all that you can ask, think, dream, or imagine. And check this out. As soon as he turned and called on God, soon as he turned around out of nowhere, boom! God. Wet wood, wet stones, wet bull, wet trench, and God set it on fire. It was lit. Boy, look. God burnt this thing down so bad, we read it. I don't even know if you paid attention. When God sent fire, the Bible says, verse 38, 39, he says, he even licked up the water. That fire blazed so gloriously, so magnanimously. It was so ubiquitous. God in all of his splendiferous magnanimity, when he licked up the water in the trench, it was so dry that there was no mud left. It was as if no water had been on it in the first place. This is what I call, here it is finally, an undeniable response, which means nobody could doubt that it was God who was God. Can I tell you why God is taking you through this season in your life? It's so that when you come out of this, even your enemies gonna have to humble themselves and say, if it had not been for the Lord on your side. Because some of your enemies going to have to come to you and confess to you, I tried to sabotage what you was doing. I actually wanted God to let you fail. I tried to see that thing go down. But even they going to have to come to you and say, out of all the things I tried to do to you, I see you still got your joy because God still did it. And in this season of your life, y'all please don't shout too hard. Some of your enemies finna become your best friends because they tried to tear you down, but when they saw God lift you up, they said, baby, whatever is on your life, I need to get next to you. So when God starts showering down blessings, I need some of them drops to fall on me. High five your neighbor, tell him I got that fire. Yes. Yes. Shake your neighbor's hand. We might as well go to church. I said, shake your neighbor's hand and tell him, neighbor, I got that fire. The reason I know I got that fire is because he does miracles in my life. The reason I know I got that fire is because he turns things around for me. I can't always see how he gonna do it, but every time I turn around, the Lord keeps on doing great things for me. Is there anybody here can lift your hands and tell God thank you for giving me fire in the midst of my storm, for giving me a praise in the midst of my problems. God wants me to tell you, if you give him your burdens, he'll give you a blessing. I'm out of here now, but slip your arms around your neighbor and say, neighbor, the reason I know I got that fire is because a lot of people have been through the same things that I've been through. But the difference is they didn't make it. But since I made it, I know I got that fire. Everybody around me has said, I know it was the Lord who blessed me, who kept me, who's holding me. High five your neighbor and say, neighbor, I got it, I got it. I got it, I got it. I got it, I got it. Yeah. Hallelujah. 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 If you ain't got no fire, you ain't got to shout with the rest of us. But I know I got that fire, because sometimes I'm sick. I don't even go to the doctor. He just heals my body, because I got that fire. The reason I know I got fire, I don't always have them, but he always makes a way. I got it. I got it. I got it. Oh, yeah. Old preacher sitting at the house gets a phone call at 2 o'clock in the morning. The fire department calls and says, your church has been set on fire. He gets up and runs down to the church with tears in his eyes. He sees the building has been burned. The fire department extinguishing the fire. He sees that half the building been burned. He starts thanking the fire department, saying, thank you for getting here as soon as you did. They told him, sir, don't thank us. Thank the man standing across the street. He's the one that called us. And while we were on our way, he grabbed his own hose pipe, came across the street, and put the fire under control till we got here. The pastor ran across the street to shake the man's hand that helped put out the fire. He said, sir, I thank you for what part you played. He said, but I want to know, why did you get up in the middle of the night to help us put our fire under control? He said, well, I've been living in this area all my life, and I've been waiting on the church to catch on fire. Y'all don't know when to shout yet. But look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, you in a burning building, cause this church just been set on fire. The roof is on fire, and we don't need no water. High five your neighbor and say, let it burn, let it burn. I got that fire. Holy Ghost fire, burn in me.
Well, God bless you again, friends, and thank you so much for tuning in to today's message entitled, I Got That Fire. Listen, God has given something to you, placed something on the inside of you. Jeremiah said it's like fire shut up in my bones. Take that fire with you and use it to introduce to the world to this man named Jesus. As a matter of fact, if you've not accepted him as your Savior and as your Lord, receive him today. Say, Lord Jesus Christ, I believe that you died and rose again for my sins. Thank you for saving, redeeming, and setting me free. I give you my life for the rest of my life. In Jesus' name, amen. Listen, just like that, you are saved. One time ordeal is salvation. Sanctification is a process. So get in a Bible-based church. Learn more about his word, his will, and his way. And he's going to do for you what your eyes haven't seen, what your ears haven't heard. Listen, before you go, don't forget, click that subscribe button. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Every time a new video is posted, you'll get a notification that the word is about to go forward again. I love you. Thank you so much again for tuning in. I'm Tadera White, and in the meantime, remember this. One word.